Most people go through life asking the same silent question: why don't people respect me the way I respect them? They try harder, they explain more, they give more, but the truth is, respect doesn't increase with effort. It increases with self-worth. The way people treat you is not random. It is a reflection of what you tolerate, what you accept, and how you see yourself. Here's the powerful truth: you don't need to change your personality. You don't need to argue, beg, or prove your value. You only need to do one thing. Once, the moment you stop chasing approval and start standing in your worth, something shifts. Your voice carries weight. Your presence feels different. People listen more carefully because you are no longer asking to be accepted. When you stop over-explaining, silence becomes confidence. When you stop tolerating disrespect, boundaries become power. When you stop reacting emotionally, calm becomes authority. This is not arrogance, this is self-respect. And once you apply it, just once people feel it, they sense it. And without you saying a word, they begin to treat you differently. One of the fastest ways people lose respect, without realizing it, is by over-explaining their decisions, feelings, or actions. Over-explaining usually doesn't come from confidence, it comes from fear. Fear of being misunderstood, fear of being disliked, fear of losing approval. When you explain something once, you are informing. When you explain it again and again, you are seeking permission, and people can feel that difference. Over-explaining quietly tells others that you doubt your own choices. It signals uncertainty, even when your decision is correct. The more you justify yourself, the more you invite debate, criticism, and control. Suddenly, people feel entitled to question you, not because they're right, but because you taught them they could. Strong, respected individuals don't rush to fill silence. They don't panic when someone disagrees. They state their decision calmly and let it stand. That silence afterward is not weakness. It's confidence. It communicates, I trust myself enough not to convince you. When you stop over-explaining, something powerful happens. Your words carry more weight, your boundaries feel firm, your presence feels grounded. This doesn't mean becoming cold or disrespectful. It means understanding that not everyone deserves an explanation, and not every decision needs approval. Some choices are personal. Some answers are complete as they are. People respect clarity. People respect certainty. And certainty doesn't beg to be understood. The moment you choose to explain once and no more, you shift the power dynamic. You stop handing control to others. You stop negotiating your worth. And without raising your voice or changing your personality, people begin to listen more carefully, because now, when you speak, it sounds like someone who believes in themselves. One of the most misunderstood concepts in personal growth is boundaries. Many people believe setting boundaries makes them selfish, rude, or difficult. In reality, the opposite is true. A person without boundaries slowly teaches others that their time, energy, and emotions are free to access without limits. When you apologize for your boundaries, you weaken them. Saying sorry for protecting your peace sends a hidden message: I feel guilty for valuing myself. And once people sense guilt, they push further. Boundaries are not emotional reactions. They are clear decisions. They don't require anger, long explanations, or defensive behavior. The strongest boundaries are calm, simple, and firm. A short sentence said with certainty carries more power than a long explanation filled with justification. For example, saying, I'm not available for that, that doesn't work for me, I won't accept being spoken to that way. These statements don't attack anyone, they simply define where you stand. When you set boundaries without apologizing, people may resist at first. That resistance is not a sign you're wrong. It's a sign that the old version of you was easier to control. Some people will test your limits again and again, hoping you'll fold like before. Consistency is what teaches them that your boundaries are real. Healthy boundaries also protect relationships. They prevent resentment, emotional burnout, and silent anger. Instead of exploding later, you communicate early. Instead of feeling used, you feel in control. Over time, people either adjust their behavior or they distance themselves. Both outcomes bring clarity. Boundaries are self-respect in action. They show that you honor your time, your emotions, and your standards. And when you stop apologizing for having them, others begin to understand something important. Access to you is earned, not guaranteed. The need for approval is one of the quietest forces controlling human behavior. Many people don't realize how often their choices, words, and actions are shaped by a single question running in the background. Will they like this? When approval becomes the priority, self-respect slowly moves to the background. Approval seeking changes how you show up. You soften your opinions. You delay decisions. You agree when you want to say no. Over time, people don't see the real you. They see a version designed to be accepted. And while that version may be liked, it is rarely respected. Detaching from approval doesn't mean becoming careless or insensitive. It means understanding that your worth does not increase when people clap, and it does not decrease when they criticize. Opinions are reflections of others' experiences, insecurities, and expectations, not a measurement of your value. The more you seek approval, the more predictable you become. Predictability lowers respect because people know you'll adjust yourself to keep peace. But when you detach, something shifts. You become grounded. Your actions come from internal standards instead of external reactions. That inner alignment creates a quiet strength people can feel. Discomfort is part of detachment. Not everyone will agree with you. Some will misunderstand you. Some may even pull away. That discomfort is the price of authenticity, and authenticity is what commands real respect. When you stop needing approval, your confidence becomes stable. It doesn't rise with praise or collapse with criticism. You speak because it's true to you, not because it's popular. You choose because it aligns with your values, not because it's expected. People sense when someone is free from approval. There's no desperation in their tone, no urgency to impress. That calm independence creates presence, and presence changes how people respond to you. Emotional reactions are powerful, but uncontrolled emotions often work against you. When you react instantly, especially in anger, frustration, or insecurity, you give others access to your inner state. In that moment, they are no longer responding to you, they are controlling you. Most people don't lose respect because of what they say. They lose respect because of how emotionally reactive they become. Raised voices, defensive explanations, impulsive messages, or visible irritation signal that something has touched a nerve. Once others sense that, they may push further, intentionally or unintentionally. Emotional control is not suppression. It is pause, awareness, and choice. It's the ability to feel something deeply without allowing it to dictate your behavior. A calm response in a tense moment communicates strength, stability, and self-mastery. It tells others that you are not easily shaken. Silence, when chosen intentionally, is often more powerful than words. A measured response after a pause carries authority. It forces others to slow down and reconsider their approach. People respect those who can stay composed under pressure because composure suggests inner confidence. When you stop reacting emotionally, conflicts change, arguments lose fuel, provocation loses power. People either adjust their tone or reveal their intentions more clearly. You remain centered while the situation unfolds around you. This level of control builds trust and credibility. Others begin to see you as reliable, thoughtful, and grounded. Your words hold more weight because they are not driven by impulse. Over time, emotional control becomes part of your presence. something people feel even before you speak. Mastering your reactions is mastering your power. When emotions no longer control your behavior, you control the direction of every interaction. How you treat your time and energy silently teaches people how to treat you. When you are always available, always responding, always adjusting your schedule for others, your presence begins to feel unlimited, and unlimited things are rarely valued. Respect grows when people sense that your time is intentional, not disposable. Valuing your time doesn't mean becoming distant or arrogant. It means recognizing that your energy is finite. Every yes costs something. Every unnecessary commitment drains focus, patience, and emotional strength. When you give your time without thought, people assume it costs you nothing. People who are respected don't rush to respond to every message or request. They prioritize, they choose, they move according to their values, not pressure. This creates a natural boundary that others can feel. When someone knows your time is limited, they approach you with more care and clarity. Valuing your energy also means protecting your mental space. Not every conversation deserves your attention. Not every problem is yours to solve. Constantly absorbing others' stress, drama, or expectations weakens your presence. Selective engagement keeps your mind sharp and your interactions meaningful. When you stop overgiving, your presence becomes stronger. People notice when you show up fully instead of scattered. Your words become more impactful because they come from focus, not fatigue. The shift is subtle but powerful. Others begin to plan around you instead of expecting you to adjust around them. Time and energy are currencies you spend every day. When you start spending them deliberately, you signal self-respect without saying a word. That signal changes how people approach you, speak to you, and value your role in their lives. Disrespect often survives because it is entertained. Many people believe they must defend themselves, explain their pain, or prove their worth when they are treated poorly. In reality, engaging with disrespect gives it oxygen. The more energy you give it, the more power it gains. Walking away is not weakness, it is clarity. It shows that you recognize when a situation no longer deserves your time, attention, or emotional investment. When you stay and argue, you lower yourself to the level of the behavior you're trying to correct. When you leave calmly, you elevate yourself above it. Disrespect doesn't always appear loudly. Sometimes it comes as sarcasm, repeated disregard, subtle insults, or ignored boundaries. Each time you tolerate it, you silently communicate that it's acceptable. Walking away interrupts that pattern. It sends a clear message without confrontation. This behavior does not have access to me. Many people fear walking away because they worry about being misunderstood or judged, but staying in a disrespectful situation damages self-respect far more than leaving ever could. You don't need to announce your exit. You don't need to explain yourself. Your absence is the explanation. Walking away also protects your emotional health. It prevents resentment from building and keeps you from reacting in ways you might regret later. Distance brings perspective. It allows you to observe rather than absorb. When people realize they cannot provoke, belittle, or ignore you without consequence, their behavior changes, or they remove themselves from your life. Both outcomes restore balance. Choosing to walk away is choosing self-worth in action, not words. Respect from others always begins internally. People respond less to what you say and more to what you believe about yourself. When you don't respect yourself, it shows in small, quiet ways. How you tolerate poor treatment, how you speak about yourself, how easily you compromise your values to keep peace. Self-respect is built through daily decisions, not grand statements. It's choosing honesty over approval. It's keeping promises you make to yourself. It's refusing to stay in situations that drain you, even when leaving feels uncomfortable. Each time you honor yourself, you reinforce an internal standard that others eventually recognize. When self-respect is missing, people sense it before you do. They may interrupt you, dismiss your opinions, or push your boundaries, not necessarily out of malice, but because you haven't shown where the line is. The world often tests the standards you set for yourself. Respecting yourself also means taking responsibility for how you allow others to treat you. Blaming the world keeps you powerless. Awareness gives you control. The moment you stop accepting less than you deserve, your interactions begin to change. Self-respect creates consistency. Your words match your actions. Your boundaries match your values. That alignment produces a quiet authority that doesn't need validation. People trust and respect what feels solid and grounded. When you hold yourself to a higher standard internally, you no longer chase external respect. You become someone who expects it naturally because your behavior, choices, and presence reflect a person who knows their worth, and this is the truth most people never realize. You don't need to demand respect, explain your worth, or prove your value to anyone. The moment you stop tolerating what drains you, stop shrinking to be accepted, and start honoring yourself in silence, the world begins to respond differently. People adjust their tone, their behavior shifts, their treatment changes, not because you asked them to, but because you changed first. Respect is not something you chase. It's something you reflect.